when we talk about development, education is a huge part of it, right? So that's what I'm hearing from what you've said, really educating our population, making sure they're set up for the future. An example has been, I know that, on Africa, things like that are happening. So Egypt recently invested about 10 billion Egyptian pounds, which is about $200 million into their research and development, so their universities. However, we've also seen on the flip side, we've seen a lot of investments, capital investment into AI startups on the continent. So when you're looking at research and you're looking at research and education, but you're also looking at businesses and fintechs and things of that nature. When we're trying to bridge the gap to development, which should we put first? Should we put the educational focus first, where we're truly investing in our universities and we're investing in our schools, or should we first focus on investing in our startups and our businesses? Which is it? Should we do both, but we have limited resources? And if we can do both, which should go first?
Well, that's which came first, the chicken or the egg? I mean, the rooster. But the reality is, it's all inclusive. For example, if you take the cocoa business, chocolate, it's a $100 billion business. Only 10% of it stays in Africa, but the cocoa beans come out of Africa. So what's the problem? We're not processing. We need to be able to process in Africa, which creates jobs, and technology will come from that. I mentioned earlier, I have a friend who's recycling plastic bottles. I mean, that's a big deal. What we have to do is make sure we're protecting our earth, right? We don't want to continue to send plastic into the oceans and kill our fish and destroy our planet. So I think anything that's energy efficient is also related to the preservation of the earth. So we have to somehow blend academics and training with our young people and retraining others, and recognize that artificial intelligence sits on top of all of this. And artificial intelligence can be either the evil Satan, or it can be our angel. But we have to protect it. I'm going to take a little deeper dive for a moment, because now it's time for me to be disruptive to those who are listening. Your telephone, for example, has infinite knowledge. You can ask your phone just about anything. So imagine taking a chip and being able to place that chip in your brain, and suddenly you have infinite knowledge. And you are able to close your eyes and see yourself skydiving or something. But also at the same time, there'll be these little tiny bots that'll be able to go into your body to evaluate your health. So I said this the other day. So one day you'll look at the mirror and you'll say, mirror, mirror on the wall, what's wrong with me? And the mirror will do an analysis of you and then send that analysis to RoboDoc. RoboDoc will then evaluate, send that evaluation to RoboPharmacy, and the RoboPharmacist will then call in the drone to deliver whatever type of medicine you need at your house. The challenge in all of that is, look at those traditional jobs and careers that are going to be facing the change of within the technology component of everything I just described. I mean, the future will allow us to replace body parts, internal. A human dies because usually one of their organs goes bad. So imagine with 3D printing, you'll be able to build a new organ and extend the life of the person. And if we can do that, then some of you alcoholics out there, we can rebuild your liver. You might be able to live a little longer. But the point is, as we look at extending life, we're also looking at extending business opportunities. And that means we're going to have new forms of housing and ways to take, especially those who are aging, and put them in positions where they're healthy enough to move around, but what are they going to do? Are we building them a position where technology is going to be useful and helpful as opposed to a detriment? So if you've got that brain chip, what's going to happen if a brain hacker comes along? and then suddenly there are things going, you're doing things you don't know about. So that's the disruption. I know I'll catch you uneasy there for a moment. But the point is, the future has to be controlled, and there needs to be guardrails on artificial intelligence. Because if we don't have guardrails, a lot of things can be said that could create what I define as future industrial racism. Because there could be data in there that can be persuasive against loaning a black person money for their business. Because the data sort of says, oh, you went to Howard? Well, suddenly, it creates a stereotype. So there's all types of challenges we're going to be facing. As I talked about esports, I think esports is going to be the future for gaming. You're going to go to casinos, and instead of betting on horses, you'll be betting on teams. And a lot of the celebrities have teams, as you know. And someday, my prediction is that it may even be an Olympic sport. So there's a lot of emerging opportunities. In everything I've said, there's going to be businesses and jobs to be created. And then, at the same time, if you have a business or a job that's repetitive in nature, within the next 4 to 5 years, you won't have that job anymore. Robotics will have taken it over. So there's a certain level of dynamicness that's taking place within the globe at this point.
Thank you so much. There's a lot of changes that's happening within the globe. It seems to me that we are slowly becoming a sci-fi movie, and that's probably going to happen sooner than we thought. I have one more question before we